Hello everyone. Welcome to Software Testing Expert Talk series. Today we have a guest who has 15 years of experience in software development and testing in the IT industry so far. Plus, he is himself a founder of one of the most reputed organizations across the world. He is a tech entrepreneur and web and mobile development engineer who loves to build valuable projects and teams through well-organized automated tests. He and his organization help companies develop and deliver great software solutions and also helps entrepreneurs to build, extend their market presence domestically and internationally. Working with them, you can have quick engagement, proficiency in automated tests, and an organized engineering team with a product development mindset that will develop the necessary test automation and infrastructure quickly and cost effectively. Not only this much is in his introduction, but he also has a superb blog on his last name named as www.poliarush.com. After knowing his last name as his blog name, you must have got an idea of who has joined us on STET today. I will not take more time to introduce our guest for today's STET session. Yes, our guest is none other than Mykhailo Poliarush. In short, we can call him Michael. Welcome to our show, Michael.
Thank you for joining joining this call. Hello, my name is Michael. Thank you for introduction, for this kind of introduction. I'm the co-founder of the different companies, and one of these companies we are providing test automation services that is called 𝐓𝐞𝐬𝐭. So I do have kind of more than 15 years in IT field and also in test automation. So from the experience that I have in this company, we have made dozens of different projects. We decided to make another test management system, which is called the Testomat. That is the superb, I would say, test management system that focused primarily on automated test cases and native integration between the manual and automated test cases and the continuous integration and test management system. So here today, I'm going to answer all the questions that you have regarding the Testomat, and I'm ready to show whole insights, I would say, tips and tricks regarding this system.
All right. So as I've said, today Michael will talk about a test management system for automated tests named as Testomat. Although this tool supports many modern frameworks, Michael will showcase the power of Testomat with the WebDriver IO testing framework. Let's hear from him directly. Over to you, Michael.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Yeah, so I hope you do and I hope you see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so as I said to you before, so the Testomat, that is test management system, was primarily focused on the test automation first approach, which means that we have plenty of different test management system on the market, but they primarily focused on the management of manual test cases. And I think that shift left approach, which is really popular right now, it should be kind of the primary focus for test management. So it means that if you have automated test cases, it should be easily flow to the test management. If you have continuous integration, you should have capability to execute your test cases from the test management system, right? If you have manual test cases and you would like to convert them and track this relation and linkage between the manual and automated test case, it should be easy done, right? So here, that's the Testomat. Let me just show all this functionality step by step on the real example. So I don't want to give you any slides. So I just would like to give you practical examples how this system can be used for the different purposes. So in effect, it can be used, for example, for the behavior-driven development. It also can be used for the manual testing. It can be used for exploratory testing, and it also can be used for automation. So today I'm going to show you the examples based on the WebDriver IO. So on our GitHub account, we have a different demonstration projects actually prepared, as you may see here. Primarily is on a popular JavaScript world. And today I'm going to show you based on the WebDriver IO plus Mocha. So that is the automated test cases we already have. And I downloaded all these files here on my local box, so it stays with me already here, right? So I will go to the Testomat here the Testomat, right? So you may use the Testomat to build one project for your API testing, for example. You can build here another project for end-to-end testing. You may have another project for mobile testing. You can divide by the functionality, or you can divide by the type of the testing you are doing, right? So let me just create the project. What I would like to do just right now, let's assume that we have already automated test cases. I will put all these automated test cases into test management system. Then we will add the manual test cases, and it will be kept under the one roof. So the manual and automated test cases will be managed at the same time in one system, which is give you the big preferences in visualization to your stakeholders and the management. And then we will execute those test cases. We will see the reporting, analytics, what another functionality that we have, and in relation to the practical usage of this tool, right? Okay, so let's just call it STET session. Right here, so we will use the classical project. It means that you have this steps, preconditions, you have maybe post conditions, and you have expected results, something like this, right? So usually our clients, if they do have any automated test cases, they would like to push this quickly without any kind of deep integration, right, to the Testomat. So to make this done, we already prepared a lot of different importers. So what does it mean? That if we will choose, for example, here, we will be importing the WebDriver IO test cases. So that's the test cases we have here. So under the tests, specs, right? So here we have some automated test cases already prepared, which can be executed. I will show you later on. So, and all these tests, we would like to move to the test management, right? So we don't need to put a lot of efforts to move all these automated test cases to the test management. So to make this done, we will execute the special command we have prepared for you. So that is called check test. So we just need to copy this and execute on our repository, Testomat repository. This command will introspect all the automated test cases, and all the tests that were found. Actually, it will be sent to Testomat, as you may see here, right? And we will go back to Testomat. We will finish this process, and we see, okay, that we have 10 test cases. We have 10 test cases found, right? That is the automated test case, actually. So, and you can go inside of it and see the internals or implementation of this WebDriver IO script, right? So that is done. So you see, you don't need to do too much to synchronize your automated test cases into the test management system. Now you have it, right? So you have the automated tests, and now we would like to add the manual test cases, for example, right? So here you can create a new test suite. Let's just call it testing homepage to do MVC. We will make it as a tabs, for example, that you open some application, right? And then you're doing some checks, right? And here you can do you can provide a lot of different actions you would need to put inside of your scenario. So actually, that's really cool functionality. So you have this auto-completion. This auto-completion is working based on the steps database. So you can fill the step database, and based on the step database, you will have the auto-completion. So nice, and you can add as many as you want to. So you will have under the one roof, you have the automated test cases that is represented here. So you can see the internals, right? And also you have the manual test cases. So now you as a QA lead, for example, you can see, okay, so without any going to test automation repository, you can see what automated test cases do you have actually for this project, and for manual test cases that you have for this project. Okay, so let's go next, right? So, and execute our test cases, right? So in effect, so we have already a few capabilities here. If you would like just to do the manual execution, we can execute all our manual test cases with just click of a button. So we have on the left-hand side, we have all our test cases we have prepared here, and we would need to go and pass or fail it or skip it, right? So then we can finish it. Also, what we can do, so we can actually execute the automated test cases, which will flow to test management system. To make this done for each of the framework, actually, we have a different framework covered. Actually, we have the Cypress, for example. We have WebDriver, we have 𝐓𝐞𝐬𝐭, �Concept.js, Jest, and so on and so forth, or Test Cafe, for example, right? Okay, so to make this done, we prepared the reporter for each of these frameworks, and it's already installed. So we have instructions, it's already installed in our application, and in configuration, what we would just need to do is just copy this generated line for you, and you would need just execute on your Testomat repository, right? So we will just execute it, and it should start. Okay, we would need to update the latest version of the reporter. It will update it. Okay, once it's updated, it's just has been started, right? We will finish it, and we see, okay, so it's scheduled, and okay, we have the execution, right? So it just started. You see, it's just started. Some execution is started, and we don't need to wait until the end, right? And these results are flowing to the Testomat right here. It's appeared here. So if it's failed, so you can immediately see what was the issue, right? So let's imagine that you have the dozens or hundreds of your test cases. So you don't need to wait until the end, right? So you can see the intermediate results and check if it's failed or not, right? Meanwhile, it's executed, right? So here it's executed, it's flowing in real time. So you can execute the more test cases. You can create a different test plans, for example, if you have different test cases, for example, defined by tags. Let me just show you the bulk edits. So it's really cool mechanism. For example, when you would like on the planning session, you have a lot of different test cases that you would like to add, and you have just only notes regarding it from this session. So you can just copy this. Let's call it checklist of the test cases you would like to add to the test suite. We will just copy it here, right? And then we will add this in one click. So this bulk edit mode will create 10 more test cases in one click just to this one test suite. Let's just do it. Okay, we will make it, right? Okay, and you see a lot of test cases are added here. And more important, that we have added some tags to each of these test cases, right? Which means that we can use these tags to filter our test cases. For example, if we have some smoke test, or we don't have critical, for example, yeah. For example, we have critical test cases. We can look at it, right, and do some actions. Also, right, for example, if you would like to execute some test cases by, let's create a new test plan by the critical tag. Critical tag, you can add this, and all the test cases, right, that have this critical tag are selected, you see. Then we will save it, critical
Mhm.
critical tests, right? So save it, and then we can select it, and then we can launch it, right? So then we have these test cases, fine, and then we can execute those test cases. Right, that is the basic functionality, right? So that is the essence. So you can, under the one roof, you can add the manual test cases, and you can add the automated test cases, and then you execute, and all the results, no matter it's manual or automated, it will be based here in test management system. And if you have just access to this system, then you will have access to the whole spectrum of all your test cases that you have in the project, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you do have some question, Ajay.
Yeah, sure. So I have heard a lot of things about Testomat. So I just want to understand, how can we organize our project by using Testomat?
Okay, right. So the project organization here is done in the same way. So usually you have all manual test cases or automated test cases, right? So mm-hmm. And also it depends on the way how you are working. So if from testing methodology, so is it classical way, right? Or is it behavior-driven development, right? So it's two way how we can go. But anyway, the project organization is doing in Testomat, so in two ways. So from one side, you are creating the manual test cases like I'm doing here, right? So you're adding as many as you want to these different test suites and test cases. Let me just create another test suite, right? So, mm-hmm. And inside of that test suite, you are adding some different test cases. And also you can, inside of these test cases, you can define the priority, for example, here. You can define the descriptions, right? Something like this. And then if you would like to organize your project, so you can move the test cases between these suites, like this one, right? So you can move your test cases between the suites and so on and so forth. And from another side, so you are moving all the automated test cases by the prepared importer, and you would need to execute these test cases and import all the time when you're doing some changes to test estimation repository and so on. So if you will do this in this way, so this importer will mimic your organization of the test cases that you have in test estimation repository from one side, and from another side you are structuring your manual test cases in a way how you would like to structure your testing by functionality or by the level of the testing, something like this, right?
All right. Okay. Coming to next question, Michael. So I have read about advanced Gherkin editor. Could you show what it is all about and how we can use it using Testomat?
Yeah. The BDD approach it's really nice way to, I would say, to collaborate between the team members. And in fact, I will show you already prepared the BDD project not to create it from scratch. So, but if you create the project, if we'll go back here, and if you will create the BDD project, so we have two types of the project supported. So if you will create it, so it will switch to the BDD style of working. If we'll go inside of it, I will show you what does it mean, right? That's called the feature file, right? So that's the feature file. Inside of the feature file, it describes, so what feature do we have? And it will describe the scenarios, different scenarios that you have to test this particular feature, right? These scenarios are described in a special, that's called Gherkin format, Gherkin language, which has different operators, which is called given, then, and then, right? So for example, here, so we have these scenarios. If we will go to and edit one of these, right? Here you may see that, okay, so we have this special given, then, and then, right? So that is the special language that is called Gherkin, and we are supported out of the box, which means that if you will do inside of it, And if you will make some changes to the scenarios, so you can type and given or then. So, and then you can select some particular step you would like to add to this particular scenario. And this step will be added here. So without any hassle. So let me just save it. I will show you that we have the steps database, right? So inside of the steps database, actually you can fill the steps database with all steps that describe your interaction with application, right? And it will be one step database, unambiguous for whole your team. And whole your team will use this, I would say that the standard language and standard steps that describe your application. And everyone who's going to create these scenarios, so they will use the same steps, you see, so it will be unified way to create your scenarios. So to make this done, we have created this steps database, right? And once you have this step database created, so you can go back to your test cases right here. So, and if you would like just to do some changes, right? So then you will have this advanced capabilities. So you have the auto completion, and that is working on the steps database. And if you would like to add some steps to the steps database, you see all these steps are newly created. So there is two which is already present in our steps database, but here a lot of steps are not created. Click and add this step to the step database without any kind of issue, right? So that's it. So also what we have actually, it's really popular if you are working as a product owner or business analyst and you are not working on a scenario level, you can actually write the whole feature file. So you can add it not just only one scenario, but you can add it the whole feature file. You can, for example, here you can format the Gherkin scenario. So, and at the end, you can type, for example, scenario, and you home page testing, and you can add given, when, and so on and so forth, right? So, and then, right. So I will add new scenario here. Also, I may change one scenario here, right? So we can update some values in another scenario. So that is one done, right? So it means that in feature mode, actually, so you can edit multiple different scenarios, which is related between each other because it's related to the one feature right here. And then by this click, so all the changes are saved, right? So you don't need to make any kind of changes in the 3 different scenarios. That's the functionality we have related to the BDD.
Wow, that's great. Great. Coming to next question, Michael. So I have also read about Markdown Editor, and could you just show us how the Markdown Editor is there in Testomat, and how does Testomat support that?
Fine. As I showed you before, we have a description here. Yes, you may see if you had a chance to check other test management system. So you may have different fields, right? The test name, test condition, precondition, post conditions, you know, so the priority, severity, assignee, and so on and so forth. You see a lot of different fields. You need to fill to make this done just to create just one scenario. But we are going from another direction. We would like to create the test management system that will be the first, that will be simple, right? It means that you will have the capability to express all you need to express in a description, but it shouldn't be too much, you know, the fields that need to be edited, you know. So that's why we have the Markdown Editor here. You can see it here. So you can add these steps as I showed you before. So then, for example, you can add, that is the headline. So as you may see on the Markdown Editor, if you can click on this link, you have a different capabilities to define the headlines. You can define the list, right? You can define the paragraph and all this stuff, right? So all these are supported in this Markdown editor. You can define the expected results, for example, here, and also you can define, okay, so then you see some text and you expect some values in field, something like this, right? So and so on and so forth. So everything that is available in Markdown format, right? So everything is supported here. So you can have this flexibility, right, to write any descriptions you would need to write in a scenario without kind of the limitation of some field, right? And also, so if it's not informative enough, you know, to add just only text, you can add, actually here you can add the screenshots. So no problem, just make the screenshots, and you can use the drag and drop or copy and paste. And here you will have the scenario that can be included here, the image, right? We will save it, okay, and then we will go back. I'll go back here. You see, so that is the description, and that is the image. So everything is plain, flexible, and simple.
All right, great. Okay, so how does Testomat can do change management? Could you just showcase us?
Yeah, it's really a cool question. So I would reply that we have two types. That it's for example, right? So if you have the manual test case, and if you would like to make some changes, so let's assume you are not working as one QA on your project, right? And you are making some changes, and these changes should be reflected to your team, so your team should understand what exactly was changed, right? So you can make these changes right here. For example, we will save it, fine, and if we'll go to the history tab, right? So all the history actually stored of the whole changes that was done to this particular test case. And if we'll go to the latest version, we will see that we have made some changes. We are providing this different differentiation mechanism to div tools to show you that what was added, what was changed and deleted. So then you can check that, okay, so something is changed, and then you would need to do some actions based on this. You will see who is making these changes. So you can invite all your team members to the project, right? You can work together. And if someone is changing this case, you will see this immediately in the history tab with the exact differences between the version, right? Also, you have a capability to compare with the different versions, right? So also you can have the capabilities here to restore. So it means that the previous version will be just restored here. So I will click on the restore and it will be restored, you see. So that is really cool functionality. Also, what we do have, if it's going and if it's related to the test automation, here, for example, the automated test cases also may have the description right here. So let me just add these descriptions. So that we have, okay, so we have a special mark here that is called out of sync, right? So it means that that is the automated test case and you have the test implementation, it's executable code, right? But it's not all the time it's informative enough. So you not all the time understand so what exactly it's done here. So you may add the description, right? And then if it's added, then someone should decide. So if the description of the steps that we have in the description, it's reflected and implemented fully, right, in your test automation code, right? If it's done, so then you go to the comparison, you see, okay, something is done, it's just newly created. So we will just mark this as a scene. But next time, let's assume that your application has changed and the QA that is working manually can go to the description, right? So he can actually add one more step and delete this step, for example, right? So we will immediately show you that this test case is changed, and we are showing you the label out of sync. That means that description is changed. So it means that you would need to do some appropriate implementation in estimation code, right? But what exactly has changed, you don't know. So you go to the comparison of this description, and we are showing you that exact changes was done to the description. And then you need to go back and see, okay, this implementation is the same of this description, the latest description. If yes, so you go and mark it as sync. If no, so you will need to go and implement this sync to Testomat, and then you can mark this as a sync. So that's the capabilities we are providing to show you the differences and history.
Okay, that's really needed. Okay, so what are the built-in templates does Testomat have, and how it's useful for end users?
It's cool. You know, so when you are creating the new test cases, right? So let's just imagine here. So you created just simple new test case, right? And then sooner or later, it should be converted to automated testing, right? So then it means that we can simplify this process even from scratch. So when the QA create the description, for example, here, he opened the page, he click on some link, and then he sees something on this text. We will save it, right? And then we based on the description, we are making this the code template based on this description. So that is the, you see, so when we started our project, we have choose that we have WebDriver IO, right? So then based on this format, we have these internal templates created in the project settings. And based on these templates, actually, you can see that that is automatically generated for you. So that is the special code. And then you would need to copy this and go to your Visual Studio Code, for example, implement this and synchronize it. And then this test case will become the automated one, right? To make this done, so we have this code templates. We can define it in the project settings, in templates here. So you can define actually different templates. So when you create the new test suite, right? So you can define, if you understand that you have the same precondition, or you have the same post conditions that need to be applied to whole test suite, or if you understand, if you're creating the new test and you would need to specify some obligatory requirements to each of these templates or to each of these tests, you can define this in template, right? Or as I showed to you before, so if you create a description and if you would like to create this code template straight away, this code, as you may see, is defined here. So we have a template. You can define this template for suite, for test case, for manual test case description, and for code template. And then you can use when you create new entities.
Okay, got it. All right. Coming to next question, Mykhailo. Is it possible to achieve cross-browser testing on multiple environments through Testomat?
Yeah, we have special. Multi-environment support for execution. Let me just show you. On project settings, we will go to the environments here. So you may define here, for example, the different operating system, different browsers, different mobile operating systems, so on and so forth, right? So you can define different environments you are working with. Once you define this list, then it will be then available during the execution. Here, so let's imagine that we have all the cases. We will add this special plus button, and then we can define on what environment we would like to execute. For example, it will be Windows Chrome, something like this, right? So then it will be macOS Firefox, and then we will define that is the Linux and Firefox, something like this, right? So then we will save it. We have 3 environments defined, right? and we have 15 test cases which we need to execute. If you have a different environments prepared just in front of you, so you can execute all the test cases at the same time. That we call it launch all, right? I will show you in a second. So, or if you have just one environment prepared, so you can go just one by one. So first you will go through the Windows and Chrome, and then once all are finished, then you go to another environment and so on and so forth, right? But it's more interesting to show you how to work this in parallel. So in effect, you can execute these 15 test cases at the same time on the 3 different environments, you see? So on the left-hand side, we have all these test cases, and it's multiplied by the amount of the environment that you have to execute right now, okay? So you can choose, for example, here, that is the particular scenario. You can mark this passed or failed, that is, you see, so that is the Windows, Chrome, that is Mac OS, Linux, Firefox, that will be skipped. So you can use here, we have a shortcuts. So you can go one by one actually and mark in the guide. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's not, something like this. You see, so and then you are just doing your cross-browser testing. So when you need to do this, and then we will finish it, and you will see. Okay, so we have 3 execution. In fact, it's the same amount of the test cases. But on a different environment, it has different results, right? So you can see, you can go inside. Actually, you can check all these results. You can filter what is failed, what is skipped, right? Who was executing it, and so on and so forth. And we are showing you, you know, so it's in a nice way, so you understand the whole spectrum of all the results, right? Also, on the top, we have the combined report, aggregated results. So it means that we are merging these results in strategies. So we have it optimistic and pessimistic strategies. So for example, if you executed one test case, but you executed on 3 different environments, and at least on one environment it's failed, it means it's failed, right? And if it's passed at least on one environment, it means that it's passed, right? So that is the strategy. We are merging these results, and we are showing you this on top of this execution. That's how it's implemented.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I have read about public read-only reports created by Testomat. Could you just guide us what it is? What do you mean by public read-only reports feature?
Yeah, you know, so when you're working alone without any interaction with any other teams, so that is fine. So you're using just and you're working with Testomat, so with the reports, and it's all. But when becomes a time that you have stakeholders, you have the business analyst, you have the management team that interested in the results, right? So they would like to understand the internals, what exactly was executed or failed, and so on and so forth, right? But to make this done, you would need to give the access to the system. It's not convenient, right? So if it's just one time story, I would say you would need to send just short public reports. So you can go to the detailed view of exact, that is the automation execution that we have done, right? So if you would like just to provide this to your team management, so you can go to and publish this particular report. It will give you the link to the public report. Then we will just copy this. I will open the incognito mode, right? And in this incognito mode, so you see it's available without authorization, you see. So we just copy this link and paste to some manager, and then it can be viewed without authorization. Here you have just only public just overview highlights, I would say, with too much detail, because you may define some internals, right, inside. So some sensitive information maybe, or screenshots, something like that is hidden, right? But overall, you can understand, okay, so you have some execution, you see, okay, something is failed. What exactly is failed, right? You can click on it and see some failures that we have, right? So, and if you would like to understand more details, of course, you would need to have access to the full report, right? And also what we are providing actually, so if you would like to collaborate with your team, we call it, so living documentation. It's really popular in BDD approach. So when you create, let me just go back to the BDD style of working. Right here in the project settings, you can enable the living documentation. Right, and living documentation, it means that we will, based on the automated test cases you have imported in Testomat, based on the manual test cases you have created in Testomat, we will generate a special public link. So, and this link you can send to your team, so team can check all your test cases that you have actually. So let's just go here, expand all. Okay, we don't have any description here. We have descriptions here, so you can expand it. You see, so you have, for example, the screenshots, you have a description of the scenario, right? You have the latest execution status, right? So it's just, I would say, it's why it's called living documentation, because it's all the time generated from the latest status that we have in test management system, right? So if somebody is changed here, in Testomat, it immediately will appear here, right? So if you will distribute this this documentation, right? So then it will be available to your team with all the time with updated state.
Okay, got it. Great feature. Okay, coming to next question. So what do you mean by branches and versioning feature of Testomat? Could you guide?
Yeah, you know, so it's really popular in development and also in test management, in test automation area, the Git, right? So when you have, for example, if you working as a team and you have a different team members, they should work on the same functionality at the same time simultaneously, then it's really difficult to make, you know, and edit one specific entity at a time, you know. It's really cool, resolved by Git, right? But if we go into the manual test cases, it's difficult to make, right? So, and if you're talking about keeping this specific, the manual and automated test cases that you would like to push at the same time, right? So to make this done, we have prepared the branches, which mean that, okay, so you have 3 team members and all of these should work with the same test cases, but you're not sure what exact test cases they will create, what exact test cases they will update, and so on and so forth. To make this done, each of these team members can create the branch, let's call it the feature 1 to 3, something like this, right? So we will switch to this branch, and it means that now you add special branch, right? It means that if you will do any changes, right, here, for example, we will go to the test number 1, we will edit it, so we will do some editing. So we will delete one step. We will go to test number 2, we will delete this test case, right? Okay. So, and so on and so forth. So you can do any changes. And you see, so we have test case number 2 and test case number 1 is changed. We are showing, okay, it's done under the branch. If we will go back to the branch and I will go to the summary, we will see, okay, what is exactly is changed in this branch and what was deleted, right? So we can actually go to the main branch and we'll see that there is no any impact. You see, there is this case number 2 is here, and description is not changed. It means that if you are creating the branches, you can create 1, 2, 3, how many you need to, right? You can do any action there without any impact to your stable version of your test cases, right? So because at the same time, another QA can execute regression testing, for example, right? And then it will be based on the stable version that is available in the main branch, right? So it means that it will be a stable process. So to make this done, we are providing this branch capability. So you create as many as you need to this, as you would need to these branches, and then you do any changes. And if you need to do any to merge these changes to the main branch, you can merge it. If you see that, okay, someone just reviewed these changes and see it's redundant, it shouldn't be on the main stable branch, then you can just delete this branch, and that's also no impact to the main branch at all, you see. So that's the main benefit. So you can work simultaneously with your team without too much impact on your stable version of the test cases.
Wow. So that means Testomat supports versioning system.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. That's a cool feature. Wow. That's
and
great.
even more, for example, if that, yeah, so if we will, so we have, as I said before, so we have, for example, here we have a history, right? And on top of this also we have a branches, you see. So if this one test case will have 3 branches, for example, then you will have forks here, so fork step. And under this fork step, you will see that, okay, this test case have 3 different forks, and you can go inside of each of these forks and check who is changed what, right? And then you can decide, so what exact work was done on these forks. So you can track the different version of these test cases that probably in the future will be merged to the main branch.
Wow, that's great. That's great, Mykhailo. I am first time looking at this kind of feature in a tool, and that's really great.
You know, yeah, it's I would say this feature kind of unique. So because other test management system, they do have this simple implementation of the history, right? So if something is changed, okay, then it's done, right? But if you would like to make this simultaneous work without any impact, so for example, two QA would like to edit at the same time, right? But they do have different purposes, right? So one should wait and another should just make them edit, right? And then another should start, you know, but it's not resolved anyhow. But here you can create different branches and you can work simultaneously without any issue. So I didn't see any other test management system that implemented this kind of workflow.
Even I have not seen that. So this is a new thing for me as well. That's great. Okay, coming to next question, Michael. Apart from integration with Jira, what other integration does Testomat provides?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So we do have integration. As you have mentioned, we have a Jira integration. So we have a integration with continuous integration. So if you have the automated test cases built with pipelines, right? It's Bamboo, GitHub, Jenkins, GitLab. Also, we have notifications, for example, to the MS Teams or Slack or email, right? Some, for example, here you can define the rules, for example, to the when you would like to see some messages in the Slack. You can define, for example, that at night from the 6 o'clock to the 9. So if you have more than 10 failures, for example, you would need to have some notification, something like this, right? So you can define this complex rule and you can define this notification. So in effect, that is the Jira. It's continuous integration, different tools, right? And MS Teams and email and Slack.
Wow, that means it's covering most of the tools which are actually used these days. That's awesome. Okay, coming to last 2 questions, but yes, that's not related to Testomat. That's a generic question. So first question is, what skills should today's tester have to thrive in this dynamic IT industry?
It's a good question, and also I would say in one sentence the QA should go, I would say, out of the box. So it means that it shouldn't be go as prescribed scenario or prescribed knowledges. So if you understand that if you are using only decision tables, that's all, and you are doing all the time, you are not improving yourself, you know. So a lot of technologies appear, a lot of methodologies appear nowadays, right? And all these tools and methodologies are changing, and you should always think out of the box. So you understand the first one. If you're doing the manual testing, you should also understand that, okay, defects can be clustered. You understand that it can be different methodologies. So if you're doing just a few approaches, it may be another approach is also there, you know, so you should try it all, right? And where it's applicable. So also, if you understand that it's the QA nowadays become too much technical, it means that you would need to learn the programming, right? So you should learn how to automate your routines, right? So on and so forth. And also, you should go out of the box and understand the more around you, right? For example, what projects are using, right? What business analytics are using, so how development is done, right? How exactly to trace that development is done correctly, and on and so forth. So it should in one sentence, I would say, you should go out of the box, right? That's I would suggest to the QA nowadays.
Okay. Last and final question. Your words of wisdoms for today's tester.
Could you please repeat again? I didn't hear it.
Your words of wisdom for today's tester.
Okay, words of wisdom. So I guess that the biggest I would say the benefits and the biggest value that QA can provide to the project nowadays, I see that it should be and it can be involved to the whole processes around. So truly QA, it should be QA, not the testers. It means that I see that a lot of testers, they are just checking functionality. So we just have some functionality. We just gave you this functionality and you are testing from A to the B. But you should also look around, you see. So you should be wondering about the different aspects of the project and how it's done. And you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be just staying at your place, and you shouldn't be staying and looking just only to the standards forms of the testing. So you should look around, right, and see how the different members of your project see on the functionality you are building, how they are building, right? So what exactly they are waiting from this, and you should look to this really carefully. So, for example, you should imagine, as a manager, I should see on the project like this. As a business analyst, I'm just important to see it like this one. As, for example, the end user, I should expect some UX improvement, something like this, right? So you should stand from a different points, and you should care about this truly from your heart, right? So if you care about this, you will be ideal, I would say, QA, not a tester, but quality assurance engineer.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Michael, for everything you have shown us. I would say a practical demonstration on Testomat, and I can see it's a power pack tool available in the market. So I want to know from you, if anyone wants to reach out to you, then what are the ways for reaching out to you?
Actually, so if you would like to reach me, go to for example, to Testomat site. At the bottom of the landing page, you will have links, right? And here, for example, you can go to the LinkedIn or Slack, right? So, or you have the email here. So the email, you can reach me here. So you can find all the links to my profile and also to the profile of our company. So you can reach me there. I'm pretty active in all of these links and communities that we have.
All right. Okay. Michael, we have reached to the closure of this wonderful session presented by you on Testomat. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up this session?
I guess so. We covered pretty much a lot, I would say. So I would say that we have a lot of hidden features I didn't show you. So, but just to mention that we have the execution also with the parameters. We have parameterized test cases. Also, you can create the test plan both for manual and automated test cases. Also, you may import your test cases through the CSV. You can have the analytics right here, so that, for example, if you would like to check the test automation coverage, right? So what the coverage you have on a particular test suites, or what the defects overall you have on your project. Also, I didn't show you the Jira, so but we have a lot of different functionality actually built in. So you can go and actually check. Let me just finally just show you a few ways how it's look like in the Jira. Yeah, seconds. Yeah. So no, that is not the project. Let me just go back to the Jira project that we already have here. So I will go and yeah, that's the link. Yeah, so the Jira also we have a Jira plugin specially created. You can install it through the marketplace. You can link to the user story, all the test suites, all the test cases. You may have these latest results. Also, you may see just straightly from a Jira internals of the descriptions, or for example, you can even more just without going to the Testomat, you can edit all your test cases. It will be reflected to the Jira. A lot of functionality actually we have inside of the Testomat. I didn't show you, so I engaged you to go to the Testomat to sign up actually and try all this functionality by yourself. So if you have any other questions, so you can at the bottom you can find us by these links. But if you would like to have more detailed demonstration, so you can schedule a demo with us. So we will show you these tips and tricks and how this can be applied to your particular context. So I would engage you, go to the Testomat, sign up, and then try all this functionality by yourself.
All right, I will definitely do so. Thank you, Mykhailo. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Michael, for joining us over STET and sharing your knowledge based on your experience in your tenure in the IT industry so far. I hope our audience will learn a lot of things about Testomat from your session, and we would be expecting more such deep dive sessions in upcoming days as well. We thank you for being a part of our STET journey. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you.